Now, there's different methods of answering interview questions: CAR method, STAR method, open-ended, closed-ended, yes, no, a lot of different things. You're sharing stories. But there are some keys that every interview question you really want to make sure you do and do well, no matter what question or the type of question you have. The first one is that your answers are brief and concise. That doesn't mean they're one-word answers or yes, no. I'm not talking about that. But if you're sharing a story, that you try to keep it specific and as brief as you can and concise, because you want to answer lots of questions so they can learn more about you and more data to look at. So they go together: brevity and conciseness, as well as being specific. That's one thing I see a lot of people I interview myself, where they're just so broad or they're so general. I don't really learn about them. I don't learn about how they handled situations. So be real specific, particularly with your job history, as opposed to hypotheticals or being too broad. So be brief, be concise, be specific, and also be real descriptive as part of that. So you want to really paint the picture, get them to almost see and feel in their mind's eye, what you're talking about. The other thing, so that's answering interview questions. The other thing you want to do too is listen very carefully. You want to listen to the question that's being asked, so you're understanding the question and responding to it appropriately and specifically, so you need to really listen to that. If you've got a question where you're not sure what they're even asking, ask for clarification, like, oh, what do you mean by this exactly? Or do you mean this? And have them restate it so you can listen carefully and really answer the question. Another key to any interview question is don't be modest. That doesn't mean you're a jerk or, overconfident or anything like that, but sometimes people are like, oh, I don't want to seem like I'm too good, or I don't want to seem like I'm immodest. The interview situation is where you want to show off your best and you want to communicate your best. If you hold that back too much, they're not going to learn about you. They're not going to learn how great you are. So don't be too modest. You got to balance that, of course, with this other side is don't exaggerate. Don't be, too much hyperbole. Certainly don't lie or anything like that, because you'll get caught in a lie. So be modest. Or don't be modest, but also don't go off the deep end and exaggerate. A couple last points too. Don't argue. Don't get in an argument with the interviewer. I mean, think about it. If you win the argument and the interviewer loses the argument, well, good, you won the interview or you won the argument. But do you think you won the interview? Do you think you're going to get offered a job or go on to the next interview? Probably not. So don't get into the whole thing about something you want to argue a point on. Maybe just say, I understand your point of view, I have this point of view, and move on to the next interview question and steer away from that. And some of our interview questions, we'll talk about some of those things you want to avoid, such as political questions, religious questions, things of that nature, where if you're on the wrong side of an issue, you're going to have a hard time, you're going to get an argument. So don't argue with the interviewer. If you find you are in a disagreement, just acknowledge it, you agree to disagree, and move on. And then lastly, in every interview, is you want to make connections. As in, you want to connect with the interviewer, that's important, but you also want to connect your answers to the company and the new position that you're looking for. Here's what I've done in my past. Here's how I might approach something. Here's how I can help your organization. In every interview question, if you've got that focus of like, it's not about me and how great I am, it's more about, hey, I'm pretty good. I'm really good, in fact, but let me show you how much better I am because I can help you and your organization. So connect that of your experience and your answers to the organization that you're looking to join, and you'll go a long way with your interview questions. So these interview questions, or this little part we covered here, do those with every question and you'll be terrific.